So I want to show you what I'm doing. I'm creating a second miter gauge workstation. I just want to talk about some of the things that I'm doing with this workstation. So first of all, I bought a cordless miter saw. Works off two 18-volt batteries, and I had to create these in-feed and out-feed tables. So I went to Woodcraft the other day and I bought this Incra T-Track with the tape measure. It has imperial and metric, and I bought these flip stops because I have 3 different drawer front sizes that I'm making on this project. So what I created was a piece of plywood. The outfeed table I made up as a U shape, and what I'm going to do is fill this in with a piece of wood. So this is going to be good for in the shop, and it's also going to be portable, that I can pick this whole thing up and take it with me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to figure out where I want to locate this outfeed table and the fence with the miter saw. The miter saw I'm obviously going to have to screw down to the bench, but in the past I've seen where we make these so that we turn these and we lock them in. This has a little kickstand, a leg, so the saw doesn't flip over, because this is really supposed to be a portable saw, being that it's cordless. So I need to find that spot that works. This turns all the way to 60 degrees, and I didn't want this to interfere, so I'm using this outfeed that's built into it, like a happy medium spot, and I can lock that in place. So I want this to be able to go 60 that way, and it also goes 60 this way. So I've got to position this in a spot where it's not going to interfere with that. And if I want to use this outfeed table, I can, or I can slide this in and not. So I'm going to lock that there. So I kind of like this position. I'm not going to put a fence on the outfeed side of this, because if the board's ever warped or twisted, I want this to always be my fence that I hold the wood up against. So in positioning this, I'm going to take this, I'm going to screw a piece of plywood down to this plywood here so that this can slide back and forth, and I'll make that so it's removable if I have to. I'll put some screws in here so I can take it off, or if I need to slide it back, I could. So for right now, I'm going to line up with the edge of the plywood, and I need to figure out where this dimension is. And that dimension right now, I'm going to slide it back a little bit, and then I'm going to use a combination square. I'm going to use this combination square, and I'm going to measure the distance off of the front of the plywood and lock that in. And I'm going to make sure this other side is the same distance off the front. Then I'll put a pencil mark there, so that way it's parallel and it looks nice. So when I set the plywood down on here, I'm going to screw it down to the plywood base, and I'm going to push it back 3/4 of an inch, the thickness of the leg. So that's that. I'm not going to do this one the same, because I'm going to slide this over here, slide it to 60, so I can slide this down a little bit, but I want this to be in line, which I ran this piece over the joiner to make sure I had a straight edge. So I'm going to slide this up here. I'm going to set this on the fence, but I don't like when the fence is touching this, because if the wood's out, if warped or it's not straight, then I don't want to rely on this and find that this is binding. So every time I make a cut, this is my fence. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this back a little bit. I still need to make sure that the flips work and hold the wood down. So if I tighten that on the T-Track, I have a little bit of room. So what I was thinking is I would take a paint stir stick, it's a little bit 1/8 inch maybe, and I'm going to put 2 of these in here. I'm going to slide this up against my fence here, and I'm gonna slide this so that I'm an 1/8 inch away. So now, again, I'm gonna take the sliding compound miter, or combination square. I'm gonna set this one. Even though it's not the same depth as that, it's more important that I can turn this to 60 to get the full use out of it. I'm gonna loosen this up. I'm gonna set that for my depth, lock it, and I'm gonna bring the front forward to that. Okay, I want to double check that I'm up against the fence here. Which it looks like I'm not on the fence here. This is critical that I'm on this fence. I'm going to push this back a little bit. Make sure that that's on the fence there. Pull this forward to it. Double check that, see if I still like that space. Push that back just a hair. Slide this forward a hair. Double check. I'm still not liking that. Something's twisted. Maybe the saw's twisted. That's what it is. The saw's twisted. So if I go off this leg here, yeah, that's what it was. The saw's twisted. So I'm gonna make that the same on each side. Now let's try the straight edge again. I am gonna have to put some screws in here. There are some holes in this plastic thing that lifted it up. So this is gonna have to come forward a little bit. Okay, I'm on the fence. I'm on that. Let's just double check that this is the new measurement. Pull this forward, it's off again. Okay, I like that. So I'm gonna take a pencil, draw a line here, put my block that fits inside here, 8.5 inches, I believe. And I need to cut that. So that's 8.5. This one's 48. So I'm just gonna make it 8 by 48. This one's 8.5 by 24. So my previous job saw here, the capacity of what I could cross cut on this, being this is not a sliding compound, so if I pull this down, I can only cut through something 8 inches. Well, some of these pieces of wood I'm gonna cut are 9 3/4, 7 3/4, and 10 3/4. So with this saw comes out I can get a good 12 inches out of it. So this is operated off 18-volt batteries, 2 of them. This is cordless. So what I like about this, I can go anywhere with this saw. I'm not limited to where there's a cord. So if I need to go across the street or in the middle of the field or in the parking lot, I can go anywhere with this. But now with this setup, this could be lightweight enough if I take the saw off, I could put this in my van and take this anywhere, and I don't have to find cords and get them to where I'm working. So I'm liking this feature, and being that I have several drawer fronts, I got to make 340 drawer fronts. I've got 4 sizes. I can do the flip here on the bigger ones, and then on the smaller ones, I can come over here and I can use this Biesmeyer guide, which they don't make anymore. I can get my smaller lengths, my drawer fronts that are less than 8 inches, I'll do here. My drawer fronts that are 9 3/4, 10 3/4, and 12 can be cut on this one. So in mass producing, bam, 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 and I'll stick them over here, and I'll line them all up, set them here. So here's the wood that I got to cut. I have to make drawer fronts, and I am able to glue pieces together. This one is in hemlock fir, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces glued together. I don't have to do that because the maple comes in wider pieces, but these clamps are made by Woodpecker. They're called Clampzilla, and the advantage to these is it helps keep the wood down as it's pushing it together, so you don't get pieces that are uneven. I also have these that I bought someone on Marketplace that I can do that with. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these, plus all my bar clamps. So come look at the wood I need to cut up. It's over here in the van. You can see there, I've got 529 board feet of maple, and I am gonna have to glue boards together, but there are some sizes I won't have to, because there are drawer fronts that are 3 3/4, so I can get that. And there are drawer fronts that are 7 3/4, so I can get that out of there. I am gonna have to glue some together. I purposely haven't unbanded this because I've been trying to set up the shop to get ready to cut these. So once I start cutting them, I can cut them all. I'll send them all through the sander to clean them up, and then I'll break the edge. That's all I have to do, the drawer fronts. I got 340 drawer fronts to do. So let's come back over here. I'll show you something.